All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have our champion Iron Commander on the line for an interview. Thank you for being here. And the first question to you is, were you drinking the Iron Commander today to win?
I was indeed. It was a different version. After the first game, I knew that I needed one. So
So the games today were very similar and very grindy. I think I agree with you. You needed to be in the right mental state for them.
yes, I was ready yesterday, but unfortunately, you had. I mean, not you, but tournament had to be rescheduled. So I was worried that I was gonna be ready since it does take a little bit of energy to get yourself into the mindset of playing seriously and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
So no, but after the first game, I went out and I made it myself a little drink and loosened my nerves a little bit, and it went okay from there.
Yeah, and I think hopefully it didn't mess you too far up, switching the days. I think overall it was a better thing because I definitely saw the level slipping, especially from certain
Yeah.
players that know it and were very
Oh, I
upset on
see.
their stream. Not you. But yeah, I think even I was going to ask you this, but I feel like Nuclear switched up his play, especially against Foxtremellen. Yesterday we saw him doing a lot, even against you, kind of the PD push. We saw it a
Yes.
little bit today, but I feel like he approached it in a little different way, starting off with air. What were your
Yes.
thoughts on that, and did you were
I
you
think
thrown
that
off?
relates to. Yes, I know what you're talking about, and I think it relates to the prior match we had yesterday, where we got to play each other actually 5 times. We drew on one of the maps, so we played a total of 5 games, and I used this tactic of getting structure cost reduction and sort of pushing with PDs. He used it. Neither of us was that successful with it, so I think we just sort of respect each other as opponents, and
Yeah.
the meta is a bit different from when you have done it already in prior matches and it not working. But he did it to me on Desolatia, the PD push, and it did work first time, but then I managed to draw the match, and he did it again on a second time. The replay of that map, and it didn't work. So since then he hasn't done it. But yeah, it's a very, 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 very powerful. I really struggle to figure out. I haven't researched the. I mean, sorry, I haven't looked into what Nuclear is researching, whether he is going structure cost reduction or not. But he must. I mean, I'm thinking he must do that.
I think that a lot of players were thrown off because it's something different. Like, obviously, you're the main Cybern player. I mean, we have hope, but none of you really take that aggressive stance. I mean, we kind of see you do that more towards the middle game, but he kind of rushes you with point defenses. But I feel
Yes.
like in a matchup like that, especially in a Cybern match, I think the key is grabbing the center, and that's what I kind of saw in the games that you won. You kind of set up a really nice hold, especially in Waystation Zeta. I don't know why he didn't prioritize the center, but you grabbed the center and you were able to the person that solidified the center position kind of won the game. Do you agree?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. But I was very worried because when I saw he was doing the same build as me, I thought I'm not very comfortable in that position. I'm sure he's got a lot more practice with 2 air, and so I thought I have to do something else than just do straight up air, and so I went for the middle, and thankfully there was no one there, and he seemed to be. I thought he might be going for research, because he wasn't throwing down a ton of land. He was to put up MMLs on the factories, but he wasn't really producing much. So I figured there must be something going into research, and it was. I was fearing he would go mecha again, but he went for nano gun, which is, I think, quite easy to counter mid game, as long as you have a few. As long as you have the. In that situation, it was easy to counter. Not generally, but in that situation, it was easy to counter. So he could have gone mega, which would have been a lot better, I think. But yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you a question, and then I thought of a better one, and then I forgot both questions.
Hold on, I need to turn off my stream.
Oh, I was gonna say, I agree with you. I don't think your airplay was very good today, if you don't mind me saying that, because
How
even in
dare
that
you?
waystation game, you threw your air twice. I feel like the control was maybe a little off, but
Yes.
you might have been playing for adapter coverage anyway.
Oh,
So
exactly.
yeah.
Absolutely. I was trying to. I ran in knowing that I was going to lose 80% of my air force, but I wanted to pull him onto my adapters, which um, is so cost effective. The key is to get not to win air. The key is not to win air. The key is just to get the number of fighters down to a point where he can't do anything. Even though he
Mm-hmm.
has like 12, what can
Yeah.
he do?
Yeah. When you
There's
have the center.
yes, so he was above 20 at that point, and so I needed to get that down. Otherwise, I would start investing too much in AA on my flanks, and that wouldn't be very good. So so yeah, I just threw in my air, and thankfully he lost a ton to adapters, making that a non-threat.
So I don't remember the first game exactly how it went, but feel like
No
it was
bombs.
the same. It was the
No
same thing.
bombs.
I think the
Yes.
third game, whenever he won the two games that he won, he was up in the center again. He won the center, and then he
Hmm.
decided to transition into megaliths.
Exactly.
Do you think that? I was pointing this out in the stream, but I feel like that almost gives you a way back in. Obviously, when the megalith comes out, it's going to be very, very strong.
Right.
But I
Right.
feel like that gives you a narrow window where you can pull your stealth back
Right.
up.
Yes, but the problem I had there was that I invested a ton in AA. I had gotten adapters
Mm,
just as I
yeah.
saw just as the mecha started hitting me. I just researched adapters. I was nowhere near close to a mecha, and I would need that at that point to do anything. He's a cyber player,
Mhm.
so I can't really attack with loyalists because of structure detonate. I would need
Mhm.
MMLs. I would need a nice composition of adapters, and I just didn't have that time. What you really need to do as Cyber in that match is if it's a if it's a slow game like it was, where no one is really attacking each other, then you have to go mecha, and I just didn't do it. I just fucked up, to be honest. So you should always go mecha, and then straight into Cicada, and that's just the way you win as
Mhm.
Cyber. And I did neither of those. I hadn't even gotten regeneration, which was the first you research to get mega. So I just fucked up in that, to be honest. Nuclear did the right thing. I did not.
Well, I think what lost you the game was the initial engagement. You engaged with your
Well,
air and loyalists over anti-air.
that's not game lot losing. I mean, in my opinion, it sets you back, and it caused me to build a lot of AA. But when you think about it, like, why? Of course he's gonna go mecha. Like, he's not. I could have scouted. I could have done a lot more things. It was just not very good.
Well, I feel like we talked about the Cybern matchup, and we asked most of the questions. I think it was
Yes.
fairly similar games, and the only different one was the last game, but it was fairly straightforward. I think what you did was honestly brilliant, and he just didn't micro well. I feel like he was done with the series that last game.
Yes,
Um,
it did feel like it. It felt a little
yeah, I mean,
defeatist.
especially once he lost his loyalists, but I mean, yeah, he
Right.
can't really do anything at that point.
I mean, this is the toughest match, to be honest. It was the nuclear uh, games. That
Mhm.
I mean, no one can take anything away from nuclear. He's absolutely
I
insanely
did
good.
not expect him to make it this far. I mean, I think he definitely brought what sets him apart and what sets like good players apart. And I've been trying to say this a
He
long
can.
time. You have to prepare for the tournament. Like you have to know your builds. Like what he does is
Right.
both him and Polar, they prepare builds. And
Yes.
I thought it was very interesting contrasting your consistency, which you mix your builds, but you're very consistent with them, versus him utilizing one single strong build, which I thought was a really cool contrast in
Yeah.
watching the final. But I wanted to ask you actually about the Fox Tremolin match, because obviously that was I mean, a lot more interesting to me, honestly. Well, no, I can't say that because it was 4-0
Because
or
of
3-0.
historical reasons.
Yes, because of historical reasons, I was very much looking forward to it, and I thought you did very well. I thought you did some things differently, but I just wanted to ask you first what you did differently and what you thought was different. Like, why were you so comfortable in not going 3-0?
Because last time I played Fox, something clicked. So not that it was like like I knew for sure, but I felt from last tournament, not this one.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I can beat this guy if I just do like watch out for this and watch out for that. And I told you as well. That next tournament, I'm gonna take it. And I did, but I'm not sure I did anything different. It was just.
Well, let me say what I think you did different. And I don't know. Let's see if you got it from me or not. I'm gonna try to take a little bit of credit, but I think that you actually started playing your game against Fox in that series. You, especially on open palms, you actually expanded and you actually started doing to him what he does to you with teleport, but you did it with jump jets. I feel like that's what you started doing, and I feel like that's. And another thing, you started building your base kind of in a more backwards way,
Yes,
so like farther back and more clumped, so that you're better prepared for the teleport in the late game.
I have made so many mistakes in the past against Fox because he's merciless. He punishes you if you do a proxy factory, against any AM player. As a Cybern, that thing will go down. It's a perfect opportunity for them to just put up a PD and a factory and start pushing, and then you are gonna lose. So I just tried not to do that. I put it as far back as possible and into my base and just get that eco lead. Also, one thing I did that's different this time against Fox was I went for a structure cost reduction on maps where I thought I could counter a TML if it came down. But then it never came down, except for the Open Palms map, which was late game switch.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was very. I think it was good, but it didn't do enough.
I mean, yeah, I was really confused. It ended up killing a lot of your mass, but when it came out, I was like, the iron has adapters, like.
Yeah, I mean, it was my economy was massive at that point. I could sustain a ton of losses. He would need to take out my entire production essentially before it starts tilting. But I thought he was going loyalty gun because that's on the way. But I just felt last time I played Fox, I took 2 games off of him and I almost took the third. And I felt like I had sort of figured out the matchup and I was just gonna make a few adjustments for this next time, and it would work. But I also felt like Fox wasn't completely on his game like he usually is. There's a tiny, he was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and this is not to take away from your victory, but I don't think he was on top of his game today or yesterday. But also, it's fair to say that in the last tournament, I don't think you were on top of your game.
Oh, I'm rarely ever. I feel like I
wins the tournament, says I'm not on top of my game, guys.
I started making this spreadsheet with each of the players I view as a threat. And
oh gosh.
I put all of the names in there and I put all the maps in a different row. I'm sorry, names in a column, maps in a row, and I was gonna figure out builds for each. All I got to do was put in the names and maps. That's
So, and then Nite of Misfortune is in a different spreadsheet, saying you don't gotta worry about that at all. All right.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I wish I could have practiced a little bit more, but I guess it all worked out. Cybern is strong, so.
Yeah, I mean, I was really pleasantly surprised to see 2 Cyberns in the final, to be completely honest.
Yeah, same here.
Any other surprises in the tournament that you saw? I don't know if you got the chance to look at the brackets too much, but.
Well, I'm surprised Vanity. Sad to see him going out so early. That was. I would have hoped to play more of the people like polar bears. Did I even play him? I don't think I did.
I don't think you did. Yeah, you
Yeah.
came from the bottom of the bracket.
Yeah, lots of people I never got to play, and who would have been a real threat. So a bit of luck, and I made it.
I don't think it was
about
luck. You faced the tough opponents. They played tough opponents. It was a big tournament, and you were bound to
Sure.
face good people. To me, Ares was kind of surprising. I mean, I haven't seen him play
gosh,
too much.
Yes, I was worried. I didn't know who that was.
Yeah, you didn't have him on your spreadsheet.
No, I didn't know who he was, and I thought, shit, I need to prepare for this guy. So I watched a few of his games, and I thought he was really good, and I was actually getting a little worried.
Yeah, he reminded me of you a little bit, but I don't know. I haven't watched enough of his games, so I might cast some of them, kind of going back. But yeah, I mean, he beat Alpha Hex, Soul Ripper, a couple of other people.
How did he beat Alpha Hex? I heard Alpha DC'd in the last match.
Alpha was kind of upset by that time, and he was tired. And I watched him. I watched his stream yesterday, and honestly, a shout out to him. I mean, he didn't get enough practice for this tournament, but he always says that. I thought he was playing really good against Fox. Especially the Open Palms games, guys. If you want to look at a really cool micro from both players. Yeah, but I know he was a little upset and tired by that point, and he honestly threw that game, and he was kind of upset because that's when the FAF stream rated my stream, and so he was really he was sad that all the FAF people got to see that, but I mean, he's just being too hard on himself. Yeah, it was honestly, it was two very weird games. It was one where they just went air, both of them went air, and it was like a stalemate for 15 minutes. And the other one, he just kind of threw. Yeah, so it wasn't the best of games.
I thought he DC'd, and in any case...
No, that was Vanity who DC'd against QQ. I don't know what happened there, but I think he just had to go.
I see.
So,
well, that sucks. One more big highlight. I think Yudi did an amazing job.
Yeah.
I've been talking with him a little bit. I know he's been talking with pretty much every pro in the community, or every good player in the community, and surprised that the FAF have taken a slight interest in this. Pleasantly surprised. Of course, there's a money on the line, so that kind of explains it.
Yeah,
but it's really nice to see the top players from a game that I also love come in and try this out and also be good at it really quickly. So I hope they'll keep playing.
We'll see what they see. We'll see what they end up doing. I think Yudi actually showed interest in playing a little more, but obviously that brings us a nice transition into the next couple of months. I don't know. He obviously probably won't qualify for the Invitational. It would be very difficult. He would have to qualify for the fall season final, and then win that, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're the third to qualify for the Invitational, but JWix is not obviously able to take part of it, so you're the second person. So it's you and Fox, predictably so, and right now it's looking like it's going to be Osmos and Vanity who are the other two, but it just depends on who wins the fall tournament. What are your kind of, I guess, outlooks? Are you looking forward to the Invitational, or are you not even thinking about it yet?
Well, I am looking forward to it, but I'm certainly not preparing for it or anything like that. I'm probably gonna be hanging a bit low over the next couple of weeks. Because work is pretty intense. So I've been trying to do a lot of practice for this tournament. I haven't been able to do as much because of that. So now I'm going to take this opportunity. There's no need to practice until before the Invitational. So you'll probably see me online less over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'll be also away for probably 2 weeks. Honestly, the past 2 weeks have been a lot of subcom for me, so not even playing. It was just this tournament. It was huge. So
props to you and everyone who contributed. I know there's been maybe it's too early to say this. This sounds like a closing thing, but I want to say it anyways. Props to everyone who's helped with this and get everything together, the pool of cash, and all the organizing. So.
Well, you
I
donated
know
as
that
well.
I
So,
did.
yeah.
I did indeed. Yes.
But yeah, I will indeed make all of that in the closing statements. But
Yes. Sorry.
anything else you want to say before we let you go?
Um. No, nothing really. I thought the game on Arctic against Nuclear. I thought I had that, and then I completely effed it up.
Yeah, I had
I
high
thought,
hopes for
okay.
that. Yeah.
Well, I thought, okay, now I'm just gonna run him over because I was gonna take his NG, take his factory, and then everything just collapsed. I lost air, I lost my NG, and then I lost my loyalers, killing the factory, and so that was sad.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, that's all I have to say.
All right, man. Well, I will congratulate you once again, and I am looking forward to you playing in the Invitational, where I hope both you and Fox bring your top games. But for now, again, congratulations, and enjoy the rest of your day, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Well, that brings us to a close of the 10-year anniversary tournament of the OSS. And I sound like I'm a little dead, and that is true. But please don't let that be a false representation of my excitement and just my hype for this tournament. I think if I wasn't excited and hyped for this tournament, I would probably be sleep casting at this point, which is not the case. So, and now it brings us really to the closing kind of spiel that I've had for this, and I've been thinking about this a lot. And honestly, guys, this is the reason why I've been doing what I've been doing. If there was absolutely no gain for it for me, I did it because I love Supreme Commander 2, and this blew me away. I've been trying to get this type of involvement from the community from pretty much day one when I started in 2019 with the SCS. And it's just, I was not expecting it. Honestly, after so many tries to get people involved and people playing in a big tournament, I kind of gave up. And then on Monday when I announced this tournament 2 weeks ago, just a bunch of people just DM'd me without me even reaching out, and they started donating. And it blew up. The prize pool blew up in a matter of hours, honestly. It wasn't even days. It was hours. Fortuna was messaging me like, oh, it's going up hourly, not daily. And yeah, so I'm completely blown away and honestly a little emotional about the whole thing. Just completely amazing. And I'm so happy we did this. I probably destroyed my health a little bit with this tournament. I feel like one of my eyes is losing eyesight at this point, which is why I'm going to take a really long break well, not a really long break because we still have the SCS this year. So I'm going to take probably 2 weeks off and come back and finish the year off and, try to bring you a really good conclusion to that. But this tournament, honestly, this is your accomplishment. This is, I feel like, obviously the SCS has helped, but at the end of the day, it's you guys who donate, it's you guys who play, and it's you guys who watch. So, really, really thankful for that. And I doubt we're gonna have anything remotely near to what we had today or yesterday. Even though not everybody showed up for the tournament, that was to be expected, but we still had nearly 60 players playing in this tournament. And I haven't taken a look at the brackets yet. I didn't really see how, some of the other people did, some of the newer people. But, we can only do so much about balancing the maps and balancing the matchups. And, I tried to go with the maps that the community likes. The community, the balanced maps, people enjoy playing on. So I don't think, in my opinion, it was a balanced map pool, which is, I think, why we had a lot of Cybern and a lot of Cybern succeeding. But, I still really, really like the tournament because where it shined was you guys coming together and a lot of the older players coming back. And, making it happen, and just some dark horses coming through and just showing absolutely incredible play. Nuclear Pizza, Aries throwing in wrenches from the old days, into the build orders, and that's where it was exciting. I was super excited to see new play, and of course, Iron Commander finally winning a tournament is kind of the cherry at the top, if you will. But yeah, again, this is a long spiel, and I really don't think this will happen again. But again, thank you from the bottom of my heart to everybody that donated, everybody that played, and everybody that watched. You guys are absolutely incredible. I'm going to name off every single person that donated. So let me pull my list up. These people are absolutely incredible. I'm not going to mention how much they've donated because it doesn't matter. What matters is the end result. I want to thank Valor, Hope, Kit Kat, Tenshi Ray, Iron Commander, Rexnar, Jwix, Nuclear Pizza, HVK Legend, Scotty M. Scott, Frost, Alpha Hex, and finally Mr. Steal Your Girl for donating to the prize pool and making it $1,500, guys. Absolutely insane. I'm struggling to find words at this point to describe what these past 2 weeks have been for me. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and if there is hope for, we do have a couple of tournaments left this year. I hope that we get some more people playing. It doesn't really matter for the SCS because we're at the end of the year, like I said, so it's very unlikely that somebody new will break through and qualify, but just sign up for the last open, which will be in November. That will be fun. I mean, we try to balance people based on skill level. It's a tournament where you kind of play towards the end of the tournament, you play your similar skilled players, so I think it's a good opportunity for people to have fun, and it's like more of a balanced type of situation where you're probably not going to play too much against the top players unless you do very well. So yeah, and more people to thank. Cone, my man, I think you're watching. I mean, I couldn't do today without you. My computer was, you guys saw the stream dropping. If I tried to update the brackets, my computer would probably explode. So thanks to Akone for updating the brackets. It was absolutely a monstrous task to update. How many is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 overlays worth of players with 64 players going through the bracket. It's an absolute ridiculous feat, and he was still asking me, what else can I do? What can I help with? And he did a lot of the admin stuff. So absolutely hats off to you, man. Really, really thankful. I'll be honest, my eyes are watering right now, guys. Yeah, so I don't even know what to say anymore. Yeah, thank you for Mechanized for casting. He ran the Russian stream. Thank you to Alpha Hex and him for making promotional videos. To Mr. Steal Your Girl for promoting it on his channel. Maxing for making the maps, so the Desolation, the Eternity Dome map. Thanks for him for modding that. Amazing job. I really enjoy those two maps. I think Desolation was played probably the most out of everything. So thanks to him, and I really hope he'll help me with a couple of more maps. I know he's been really busy, but yeah, so thanks to him. Who else? We had Scotty M. Scott casting a couple of games. We had Rainbows casting a couple of games. Spiff, obviously. Spiff, my boy, did a lot to help. And I know he's been having difficulties as well. So really, really thankful for him coming around and doing all that. Who else? Oh my goodness, there's been so many people, honestly. Yeah, you guys, everybody, just everybody. I think everybody in the community deserves praise for coming together and making this happen. It really wouldn't work without you guys. It doesn't matter what I do. It only matters what you guys do. So I think I'm gonna leave it at that because I'm starting to sound like a diarrhea trumpet again. But again, I can't be understated how much I appreciated you guys. So thank you guys, and I will see you in the end of November and early December for the conclusion of the SCS. Congratulations to Iron Commander, Fox Tremelin, and Nuclear Pizza, and Ares, and honestly everybody in the top 12 who got the money. Congratulations, guys. You guys are absolute monsters, and you deserve every bit of praise. So thank you, guys, and you everybody have a great rest of your day. If you're still watching, give a thumbs up to this video. If you liked the video, leave a comment. If you loved the video, please subscribe. And if you are blown away by it, check out my Patreon page. This has been Nite. Take care and peace out.